This is a really interesting conversation, is freelancing versus a quote unquote 9 to 5. All right. So you're fully freelancing now.
Yeah.
So you've had
April this year.
Okay, cool. Nice.
Yeah.
And then I think when we post this episode, it might be in 23. So as of April last year.
year.
Yeah. So you've obviously experienced both, right? I guess what are like the similarities and differences? And the reason why I'm asking is because, again, generally speaking, we're in a generation now where a lot of people want to freelance and a lot of people want to become entrepreneurs and business owners, which is absolutely amazing. I love that shift. But it has its pros and cons, right? And it's not for everyone.
Definitely.
And it's okay to work a 9 to 5 and be super successful in a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
So, like, talk to me about your experiences on how you find kind of differences between one versus the other.
Sure. Firstly, I think actually from my experience, I would not. Well, no, I wouldn't say that. I was going to go, I would not recommend. But from my experiences, I think what's really been valuable for me was working in the 9 to 5 environment in the business first.
Yeah.
Because you learn the ropes so much. You learn the industry landscape, which you can't do necessarily when you're just by yourself, or it's more hard to do. So I would recommend actually, even if it's a small stint, just getting into that office for a little bit, seeing how they do it, and then coming away if that's what you want to do. But in terms of like the upsides and the downsides, it's funny because I'm really going through this now, having only been freelance for a few months really. The upsides are you're in charge of your own time, being freelance. You can create the kind of jobs that you take. Yeah. You can be in charge of your schedule. You can kind of have more say in the direction that you go in. Obviously, when you're working for a business, you're working collaboratively. So your opinion is one of many in a good way. But I think it depends on your personality type, because I love being freelance, but I actually do miss the stability of 9 to 5. I miss the structure of it. I miss seeing my colleagues every day. For me, someone who has very temperamental mental health, I realise now in hindsight how much I enjoyed that structure and how much actually I needed it. Yeah. Because now I'm freelance, there'll be some times where I'm not in the mood to do it, I'm not in the best place, but there's nothing forcing me, so I won't do it. Whereas when you're rushing to get the tube in the morning and you have to be somewhere and you have a meeting that you're thinking about, I think naturally it can help distract you and help put you in a different mindset. But it really depends on the type of person you are. For me, I like the variation. So I tend to have done like 2 years in-house, which is like working for a company, and then a few years freelance. But right now, because my personal work is so kind of time-consuming, I think I'm going to not go back into house for a while, if ever. Because I can't.
And again, I love the journey of how you've done it, because you've kind of had that experience, that stability, and then when you were able to kind of make the leap, you've made the leap confidently, knowing that you're going to be all right. But I want to touch on one point that you mentioned is around you get to kind of manage your own time a little bit more when you're freelancing / entrepreneur. And I think that's probably one of the main reasons, I think, why people tend to go freelance. But I think there's a caveat to that, right? And tell me if you think otherwise. I think now you're in a position where you're doing amazing stuff, right? And you can create your time, and because you've got loads of opportunities, and you're, do you know what I mean? You're big deal. Do you know what I mean? Like you're doing your thing where you can turn things down, right? But when you first when you first into that, right? If you haven't built up that brand and you haven't kind of established yourself like that, you don't really have the luxury of kind of turning down jobs. So like you say, you get to manage your own time, but like you might go from working a 9 to 5 to working a 9 to 9 because you have to, right? The hustle is there. So I think I hear what you're saying, but I think there might do you agree that there's a caveat to that?
Definitely. And I think some of the solutions that I've seen some of my peers do is get a part-time job in something that's not too consuming of their mind. So maybe bar work, or I know my friend works in a comedy club, so she arrives, she works, and she can leave it there. Whereas like a 9 to 5 or an office job, you very much take it home. So I think if it was the case, if you are doing that, so you are having a part-time job which can supplement your income, you then can be a bit more kind of not creatively, you can create a bit more the work that you do say yes or no to. If you're relying only on those content jobs to sustain yourself, it becomes
about money, right?
Yeah, it becomes about money, and you're going to do things that doesn't feel authentic to you and doesn't feel right. So actually seeing my friends and my peers, what they've done by working, say, a bar job or things like that, they're able to then create their freelance work a bit more authentically, which I think is quite a nice thing to do.